Yes, wonderful people, Clairvoyant here with a Borderlands 3 video that I've been wanting to make since what feels like forever. Although I can tell you since when, it was November 9th, 2020, when they released the designer's cut. Now, you may have already guessed it from the title of this video, but today I want to talk about Flak's Purple Tree. Sure. And I was disappointed with Flak's Purple Tree too. And you know what else I was disappointed with? Flak's DLC 6 class mod, the role reversal. Like, why do I need infinite grenades? And my final disappointment? The Maliwan shield from the final vault card. It all just felt like a kick in the teeth. I mean, kick in the teeth may be too strong, but I didn't like it. However, these three things together have led me down a path that is somewhere close to magical because, and I'm nervous to even say this out loud, but I think I've found a Purple Tree Flak build that may just be their highest damage output build in the game. So let me introduce you to Purple Rain Flak.
Hi!
Just quickly before we get into it, I play on PlayStation, and something that I feel that PS users miss out on is like save file sharing and swapping. So what I'm doing with this video is effectively creating like a DIY save file where I will send you all the gear, pin a link to the skill tree build in the description, and then you can just download it all, build it for yourself, try it out, and then let me know what you think. All you've got to do is subscribe to my new channel and stick your PSN ID in the comments, then I'll reach out to you. It's Clairvoyant, and I'll send you all of this gear. Okay, right, so let's get into it. There are a number of sections to this video, and some of them may not be for you. So if all you want to do is find out whether this build wrecks or not, you can just skip along to the shooty bit below. But I'm going to go through the build and the gear, the rules that I've set myself to make this build credible, the maths behind my highest damage output claim. Then I'm going to go and take this build to a Maliwan Takedown. Then if that goes well, I'm going to take this to a true takedown and see just how much damage we can do. So first, I'm going to go through the gear and the build and the rules. And in fact, I'm going to go through the rules first, okay? I don't know why I always set myself rules to make things harder. Rule 1, no revolter.
Plot twist.
Rule 2, no plasma coil. Because I feel like if this build has any chance of not being turned into a meme, then it can't rely on the two most OP bits of gear in the game. And rule 3, the build has to be farmable. And by that I mean it just can't rely on a full stack of perfect god rolls. But I see so many builds where they're just using completely perfect gear. And I always feel like, well, I mean, I'm never going to get that. So then, those are my 3 rules, but absolutely anything else is on the table, okay? Now, I've found 3 ways of making this Purple Tree build work, and they all rely on pet crits in some way or another, because there has to be some benefit to spending that many points in the Purple Tree. The first is with Gamma Burst and Atomic Aroma, which is actually where I thought this build was going to go for quite a while. Another way is with Rack Attack and a Peregrine class mod, but in my opinion, the best and most fun, and I'm so glad to be able to say this, the highest gun damage is with Gravity Snare. So we're going to be using that. And so let's jump into the build. There are 2 main damage sources in this build. The first comes from the Mana Well. So the Mana Well is a shield from DLC 6. It's from the final vault card, and on slam it gives you 100% bonus shock damage, 70% damage reduction whilst the shield drains. Now the shield drains quicker than I was hoping it was going to when it first launched, so we're going to need to find ways to keep topping it up, and the first way we're going to do that is with fuzzy math. Now let me just put my camera over here. Look at me on Flak's body. Beast, kill. I wish I could do Flak's voice. Sorry, right. The first way we're going to do that is with fuzzy math. So when Flak or their pet scores a critical hit, a portion of Flak's and their pet's shields are restored. Okay, now we want to max this out, and it's kind of up to you how you get down here. Although you definitely want to max out Throat Ripper, because that is allowing pet to crit, right? If you're using Gamma Burst, I'd recommend Monkey Do. If not, it can be a bit of something and nothing. So I'm going to stick 5 points in Not Even a Challenge, 5 points in Fuzzy Math, and then we're going to grab Capacitance. Now just popping back up to Throat Ripper. Now 3 points in Throat Ripper gives Pet a 15% chance to crit, which actually isn't quite enough. We want that to be at least 20%. So we're going to need to find a way to boost that in a minute. Then whilst we're here, we'll stick Gravity Snare in our action skill slot. Then we're putting nothing in the master tree, which surprised me because, like I said, I was actually thinking this was going to be a Gamma Burst build originally. Then for our second crit source, to keep our mana well topped up, we're going to head all the way down the Hunter tree to grab Megavore, making sure to max out Interplanetary Stalker, Head Count, and Big Game. Now you'll notice I've not put anything into Leave No Trace and instead maxed out Second Intention. That's because the guns that we're going to use fire either too fast or too slow really to make any use of Leave No Trace. So that reload speed is going to be making all the difference, especially seeing as we've maxed out agility training, which means that we're going to be reloading lightning quick. Then back to the green tree, and we're just going to be trying to squeeze out every last bit of damage that we can from this build, whilst making sure we grab the very important Lick the Wounds. And I say that it's very important, and that's because a lot of the damage from this build comes from being alive and well and having your shields active. So if you're going to fight for your life, things can get a little dicey. Then 3 in turn, tail and run to get 25% extra damage when you're standing still. Then I want to get 3 in the Fast and the Furious. Fast and the Furious? And then to get there, I'm just going to stick 1 in Self-Repairing System for 25% extra damage when you're above half health. Now, I mentioned we're going to need more out of Throat Ripper, and that's because we're going to be using the Gunslinger Jabber, which, sure, is the highest attack rate pet in the game, but it's still nothing like the number of crits you can get using Gamma Burst and Atomic Aroma. So we need to double down on that crit chance if it's going to be useful. Now, at first, like I mentioned earlier, I thought this was going to come from the role reversal. So if I stick a role reversal here, which has 2 in Throat Ripper, you can see that takes the pet crit chance up to 25%, which does make a real difference. But then I started doing some testing with the Cosmic Stalker, and you know what I found out? Well, okay, actually, the Cosmic Stalker itself doesn't boost Throat Ripper, but Big Game does. So if we can get a Cosmic Stalker with 3 out of 3 in Big Game, then we can boost our Hunter skills by 60%, which turns our 15% pet crit chance into 24%. So unless they're shooting at point blank range into a brick wall, you're getting around 2 crits every second from pet. Plus, it means we get to use a Cosmic Stalker, and this is where the build starts to get interesting. Now, in terms of passive stats on your class mod, the only thing you really need is splash damage, and it's the same thing for your artifact. You need area of effect damage, because people often discount flak when it comes to splash damage, but splash damage multipliers can actually have the biggest impact on flak, and I'll explain that more when we get to the maths in just a moment. But first, the guns. Now, this build only really properly uses 2 guns. The first is the Sandhawk, and this build finally lets you do something that I've wanted to do ever since they dropped the Mayhem 6 gear, and that is use the Sandhawk like the SMG that I've always wished it was. And the second is the Kick Charger, which we're actually going to be using more like a sniper than anything. So when you're farming for this, I mean, that is if you're not getting me to send you the gear, which remember, if you do want me to, just stick your PSN ID in the comments and I'll reach out to you and send it to you. But if you're farming for this, then what you want is this sight, this 3.3 times zoom, which looks like this and aims like this. So you can actually shoot it with pinpoint accuracy. Now, both of these guns are high damage, high ammo consumption, low ammo reserves, especially the Sandhawk consuming 3 ammo per shot and shooting, what, 6 and a bit per second. So to get around that, we're going to use Forage on our Gravity Snare, which drops ammo, health, and shield boosters. Now, it's the ammo drops that make all the difference here, because they're not regular ammo drops. They're like those little blue capsules that some shields drop, and they replenish all of your ammo for every gun, including grenades, instantly. Which brings me to grenades, our third crit source. Now, just while we're here, I'm going to stick on Wide Net for a bit of extra reach. Then, for grenades, we're going to use a Mitosis Hunter Seeker. Any element will do. And in fact, what I've got is a kinetic one here, just to minimize the chance of elemental resistances. But it really doesn't matter, because all you need it for is the crits that it's going to get through Megavore. So we've got then a 24% chance of pet crits. We've got a 20% chance that all our own hits crit through Megavore. And we've got then the Hunter Seeker also critting every time we throw a grenade. And those 3 things then just keep feeding the mana well whilst it's draining. Then for anointments, on the Sandhawk and the Kick Charger, we're going to use the Gravity Snare Anoint, which, yes, still only gives you plus 150, not plus 250 damage, but even so, it's still worth it, and I'll show you why. On the shield, we're going to use 50% bonus radiation damage. You can pick any element, but because we've got Splash on our comm and our artifact, then the explosions you get from killing an irradiated enemy really ties in nicely with that. Then on our grenade, and this is super important, you need to have the Grenade Throw Anoint, because it's the only V2 damage multiplier that we're going to have. Now, these final two guns are actually more for utility than anything else. So, like I said earlier, when you go into fight for your life, you're vulnerable, and if you happen to have run out of sniper ammo at that exact time, and all the enemies around you are too big to one-shot with your kick charger, then you're going to need a get out of jail free card. And there's a couple of options for this, but after testing, the best one I've found is the needle gun. You can also use the Chaoson or the Tizzy, but I found the Tizzy, once you got back up, was just, you know, sometimes the Tizzy just gets stuck and won't go into that hyperdrive that it does. I find that was happening a lot. So I've gone for a kinetic needle gun to maximize the card damage. And then for anointment here, for the longest time I was thinking consec hits, because I felt like I needed something that was always going to be active. It couldn't be action skill based. But then I realised when you're in fight for your life, the only purpose this gun has is to be a fight for your life gun, to get you back off your knees. And I realised that obviously whenever you're in fight for your life, you are below 50% health. So URAD here is what we want. Then this final gun, and you may not agree with me here. And if you don't agree with me, you can just stick like another Sandhawk of a different element in there for your own utility. But what I've gone for is the Clockwork Res. Now that is because Pet is such a crucial part of this build that if Pet goes down, I don't want to have to be messing around trying to revive it. What I want to do is switch to my Res, jump over, pow, Pet's revived. In fact, even if you're in fight for your life, if there's no one about, you can use your Res to revive your pet, who will in turn revive you back with Lick the Wounds. Now, this video is maybe already a little bit too long, and forewarning, we're about to dig into some maths. So look, if that's not your thing, feel free to skip along. But if it is, then buckle down, because we're about to jump into some spreadsheets. I mean, I never thought that spreadsheets and video games were going to overlap in my life, but it turns out there's a time for everything. So let's grab this. Okay, so look, what I've done here is I've put all of the different damage sources in its respective categories. And if you're looking at this and things like V1 and V2 are meaning nothing to you, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go into it in this video. But if you're interested, then there's loads of resources out there. You can just Google it, either Flax or Borderlands damage formula, and it will go through all of these things. But what I wanted to do first was just lay out the damage of, like, not the build that we've done, but like just a generic high damage flak build. In fact, yeah, look, I've got it here. So this is just like a really decent flak build as you'd normally see. So then if you put the damage from this build into this spreadsheet, including like the boosts from our artifact and our class mod, then it comes out like this. Basically, you've got the power inside, frenzy. I'm using a great horn skag for some extra gun damage and general damage. So I've got interplanetary stalker and all of these bits. Fast and the where is it? Fast and the furious attack, right? You put it all through here, and then look, if we say put in, I don't know, just say like 100,000 gun damage, card damage in here, that outputs just over 1.2 million, which is a percentage increase of 1,260, which is decent. But you remember I said earlier about splash multipliers making the biggest difference on flak. Now watch this. If I include these splash multipliers, which I've excluded for the moment, right? But if I put these in, watch this percentage damage increase here. Look at that, 4,000%. Okay, right. So okay, I'm getting a bit excited, but this isn't the build that we're working with today. Okay, so this then is our build. You can see here we've gone down the purple tree. So if we do the same thing, and I've done it just up here, right? Same thing, same artifact, same com, all the same stats using the bits that we're using for our build. Now I've already put in the splash damage here. And I've already put in our Gravity Snare anoint in here. Then if we put, same thing, 100,000 card damage here, you can see we get 2.1 million, which is an increase of 2,154%, which compared to the final damage numbers here, being 4 million and just over 4,000%, you can see why people were so disappointed, why so underwhelmed with the purple tree. But now, if we go back to our first build and in the kind of name of fairness, to give it everything that we could give it, let's give it a plasma coil, right? Now, I've got the rough DPS of a plasma coil, of a god roll plasma coil here, right? So let me just stick that in. Now, percentage obviously stays the same, but what we're getting there is a DPS of 47.9 million. Now, if we go up to our build and use the DPS from a Sandhawk, which remember we're only able to use because of the forage anoint on our Gravity Snare, That brings us to 49.7 million. Same percentage increase, but what we're getting here, and I'm so excited with this. Okay, look, it's only a tiny amount, but we've got a higher damage output just from our build here, right? And that's before you factor in the damage from the Mana Well. Now, okay, yeah, we could give the other build, we could give that first build the Revolter, but we could give our build the Revolter, and that was in the rules, no Revolter. In fact, no Plasma Coil was in the was in the rules, but I really wanted to just make this point that even if you were to give that other build a Plasma Coil, we're still doing higher damage here, right? And I don't know, I mean, maybe there's something I'm missing here. But this build can't take a Mana Well because you haven't got pet crits. And you haven't got infinite grenades. So we've got higher damage output and we're going to be sticking the Mana Well on top of that. And that brings me to our next task, which is the Maliwan Takedown. And oh my god, I'm equal parts excited and nervous. So let's get out of this. And let's finally, after what feels like forever, and thank you, honestly, thank you for bearing with me. If you've watched this and you've watched it all the way through, like, thank you for sticking with me. Right, it's business time. Let's do this. Oh, Iridium. Oh, sidetracked. Okay, right, so we're going to dig in, we're going to get everything going, and we're going to see how long we can keep that Mana Well up for.
You cannot hide.
Look at the damage on it. Oh, mate, my map. Well, let me get my... Okay, that's better.
Setting the trap.
Look at that. The whole area cleared and the Mana Well's still going. Right. So, Kraken, let's see what you got.
I like your enthusiasm.
One clip, let's go. Yeah, you look after that, mate. Come on, we're going up here. Look at the damage on this, man. Yeah, I see you. Oh my god, look at that. Look, we just got to the end of the bridge and our ammo requirements are 0. Boom. Thanks, Wotan. Bosh! Look at that. Wait, brain. Right, yeah. Flax Purple Tree, yeah. Right, so I feel like there's no disputing the damage output of this build now. I mean, come on. Where are you? Flax Purple Tree, man. I feel like emotional. I've worked so hard trying to get this to work. But there is one final frontier, and that is the aforementioned true takedown. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I've actually never done a true takedown, so maybe you know more about what I'm getting into than I do. To give myself the best chance, I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea. Then I guess we just get into this. Cheers. Chamomile, if you're asking. I don't really know what else to say, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to provide any kind of commentary whilst I'm doing this. So I'm. Oh, I tell you what. Actually, first things first. I feel like I need an outfit change. Bit more purple. Yeah, look at that. Okay, yeah, purple rain flak. Oh my god! And look at Pat. He's true takedown ready. Look at him. Let's go. Right. Wish me luck. you leave circle alone. My God, this is literally never ending. I'm not even inside the complex yet. Let's see. Okay, not one clip, but two. Still. How can it be this mental after the Valkyries are gone? Halfway checkpoint. I feel like I've been on this bridge for like the last 20 minutes. Still more. What? You're on my team. Yeah. Look at you, just going for a walk. Oh, what'd you drop for me? Conference call. Nope. Look at him, still magnificent. Okay, so we've made it to the top side of the bridge, and it's been tough. I mean, I'm not trying to gloss over it. It's been tough. I've used every tactic I could think of. I'm using the Super Soldier Shield right now, and so look, I'm about to head into Wotan. But unless by some miracle I get it on the first go, honestly, I'm not doing this again. So I'm gonna go win. Wish me luck one more time, and we'll see how this goes. Come on! Oh my God, come on, come on, come on! Yes! No, 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 no. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Takedown in the service.
Come on! Where's the brain? Yeah! Yes! Oh my God. Yeah, a true purple flak build. Oh my God. Let's go.
Krieg, what is happening?
I don't know what to say, man. We did it. I'm so chuffed. So chuffed. Listen, thank you so much, everyone. I feel like it's been a real journey. True purple flak. Bloop.